What is something common that has never happened to you? I'm almost 29 and I've never been stung by a bee, wasp, hornet, etc. Lucky. I made it to 3 years old and a wasp said, "Damn, that's a happy kid. Let's change that." I've never been to a funeral. Oh, Thera riot. 24 and never broken a bone or had any fractures. 41 checking in here. Never been fired from a job, knock on wood. Only time I got fired was from a new Monsignor. First week. They didn't last a month and I got hired back. Being called for jury duty. I am 40 and my dad and my sister have both been called. But not me. It seems there's two types of jury duty notices. There are people like you who either never receive one or rarely receive them. Then there's people like me who receives a jury duty notice every time I'm eligible. I don't know if it's common, but a friend expressed surprise when I told him I had never ever seen hail in person. I know of it, of course, and seen videos and the like, but I've never experienced it myself. Edit. To answer a frequent question, I lived most my life in Virginia, and now live in Delaware. Said friend also lives in Virginia, though further south than I. Being invited to a wedding. Everyone always tells me about how I'm so lucky to not go to weddings because of how much they end up spending to attend them, but I'd like to experience it at least once in my life. Apparently I'm not close enough to anyone to be invited. During COVID a lot of friends got married in small ceremonies. Understandable. But I wish that I got more chances to attend bigger weddings, because they seem fun. My family is from a culture where weddings are big 100+ invite everyone affairs. I have never won an award for anything, ever. In elementary school literally every single person in my class won an award for something except for me. I have never been an employee of the month. I have never been honorably mentioned for anything. While in the service the only ribbons I received were the ribbons the rest of my unit received. While playing sports the only trophies I ever received were the ones the rest of my teams received. Now while working for the police as a 911 dispatcher I have never had any accolades whatsoever. In fact, when I was in kindergarten our teacher made a promise to us that if every child lost a tooth we would get an ice cream party. Best efforts aside, I never lost a tooth in kindergarten and we didn't have a damn ice cream party. Because of me, lol. Edit. Okay, the outpouring of love I received was completely unprecedented to me and something I was ill prepared for. Thank you all so much, lol. This is crazy. Fixed. I'm 30 years old and I've never had a wet dream. Edit. Boy, I tell ya, if I knew my inbox was gonna get flooded with dudes telling me about their nocturnal emissions I don't think I would have left a comment. Yeah, whenever I have sexy dreams I always wake up before the good part. I'm 41 and haven't died yet. I've never been pulled over or gotten a ticket. Hand with light skin tone with index and middle fingers crossed. I bragged about this a couple months ago then got a ticket a week later. Careful out there, man. Never had a cavity. My dentist told me different people have different kinds of bacteria prevalent in their mouths. I am in my 40s and I have never had anyone invite me out for drinks. If by any chance you live around Puget Sound, I've never gotten a nosebleed. Ever. When I was in school I got it 12 times in a month. Got operated on and turns out a growing bone in the nose had pressed against a nerve. Alive because of modern science. Would have died for such a simple reason in ancient times. Long-term relationship. Same. I've always been somewhat of a loner. I've never smoked a cigarette or been sent a duck pic. Edit. And I don't want any. Thanks. Edit 2. Mistakes were made by admitting that to the internet, but any pics will remain Scrodonger's pic and will never be opened. Is it a duck? Is it a cigarette? We will never know. I'm sorry for what's likely going to happen to your inbox. Never been on a date. I'm 34. Hell, I've never been on a date. And I'm married. Edit. Fine. First date. You pedantic fricks. Everyone in this thread is jinxing themselves. Feeling loved by someone other than your family. Hang in there, General Kenobi. I have never had strep throat. Just swallow a handful of razor blades and needles. Same effect. I'm 27 and I've never been drunk. I am 28 and for the millionth time I am going to try and get sober on Sunday. I wish I never started drinking. One night stand or FWB relationship. I tried to have a casual FWB. Married 36 years. I'm almost the only person I know that's never been divorced. My wife has been divorced 3 times. This sounds like an immovable object unstoppable force situation. Hope your streak wins out over your wife's. Never had to go to the hospital. I go every day. I work there. I've never caught a fish. We would spend hours a day fishing as a kid in summer and for some reason I never caught one. As an adult people have taken me fishing, determined to help me catch a fish. Nothing. I'm 40. It will never happen. I never got a tattoo. Same. I think tattoos on other people are cool. 39 straight male and I've never been to a strip club. Me neither. Don't see the point in giving myself blue balls. Going home frustrated. Knocking one out then crying myself to sleep. Edit. A lot of people here saying you can get extras. Yeah, good point. But for me, it's a lot of money for 37 seconds. And I'd still cry myself to sleep. 39 and have never had any children. Kissing a girl. Edit. Answering some questions. I'm 24. I have never tried to before nor do I really care to that much. I am a busy person and dealing with another human being is tiresome and stressful. Also me, I'm not gay. I never learned how to drive. I'm 30. 32 and same. I legally can't due to how bad my eyes are. Never rented a home or had a roommate. Sleep paralysis. I am thankful and I hope I will never experience that. It's the worst. Any natural disaster and snowball fights. 48 and never tried a cigarette. I'm 57 and nobody has ever told me that they are LGBTQ. I have some gay and lesbian friends, but I only know it BC somebody else told me. I'm a grizzly, old, redneck looking motherfucker so maybe PPL think it'd be hateful. Also, I don't talk about sex so it isn't likely to come up in a conversation. When I was about 21 one of my best friends had some sort of life moment and decided he needed to come out. He called me and I got along. Had a relationship. I don't understand how they're so common. Didn't get COVID. My girlfriend got it and we isolated together. My boss got it and I didn't. And I worked in retail during that time. Never heard I love you or sorry from my parents. I'm close to 40. I've never eaten a Twinkie. Edit. Damn. I didn't know y'all were so passionate about Twinkies. You're not missing much. Why doesn't anyone offer me free drugs? LOL. Winning a Cards Against Humanity game. Never answered any AskReddit question. I am 45 and I've never changed a baby's diaper, and hopefully never will. Before I had kids that was the thing I was sort of worried about. Turns out it was literally like the easiest thing about having kids. Found a boyfriend-free girl in my never-ending love quest. Get back in your cell. Never really had the pleasant surprise of finding forgotten money weed laying around the house. I just always know where that stuff is. Happens to my friends all the time though. I've never masturbated or eaten a Big Mac. I'm 31. Well, sounds like you have a once in a lifetime opportunity here. Early 40s, never seen a Star Wars movie. I've never had to serve on a jury. I'm terrified of the responsibility you may hold in deciding a stranger's fate. So touch wood I can keep the streak up. I dunno is appendicitis or tonsillitis is common, but I never had any of that. Let's keep it that way. Kissed by a woman. Username checks out. 21. Never broke a bone. Never have a fracture. Sex. I have not driven a car in my lifetime of 71 years. Despite living in Scotland and being a white, heterosexual male, I've never played a round of golf. I have never had a one-night stand. Every man I ever got jiggy with was one I knew and felt a connection to. A girlfriend told me to try a one-night stand, but I will not. I watch too many true crime docs. I've never shoot myself. Edit for the silly people. In my life since I've been potty trained, I never learned how to swim. I can't float. Man with light skin tone shrugging. I never had a pen explode or leak in my hand. Never been divorced. Married only once. Widowed 24 years ago. And never remarried. Never made a post on Reddit or other social media after being on Reddit for 9+ years now. I've never fainted. I'm 31 and have never had a cavity. I live in Indiana, and I've never personally seen a tornado. They happen in my area at least a couple times a year. I even lived in a mobile home for a couple years. Never punched anybody nor got punched by anybody. Never participated in a fight of any sort. Not even as a kid teenager. 47 you fairly muscular and otherwise normal male. Brain freeze from ice cream, etc. I have no idea what y'all are talking about. Having a relationship. At least one that lasts more than a month. I've never had the flu. Never had chickenpox. Having a fictional crush as a kid. Getting a lot of body hair on e.g. my chest. Ultimately I'm extremely happy with the lack of that. Never had a drink. Yes, I'm an adult way above 21. Just never got the appeal. For reference, I am 21 years old. I'll make a list, as I can't decide. I've never been stung by a bee. Never set foot on a plane. Never actually been on vacation. The closest thing was class trips. No broken bones. As far as I'm aware, I have aphophobia, so I've never kissed anyone. Due to lack of interest. I've never been in a romantic relationship. I have never been drunk. Never drove a car that was part of an accident. I did experience one when I was 2, though, and 2 bus accidents over the last couple years. I don't think I've ever seen any sort of natural disaster in person, though in my case, that's not likely to happen anyway. Germany's usually pretty tame. That's all I can think of right now. Anyway, I'm 25 years old and have never been conned. Never see my grandfather as he died before my birth. Getting the side effects of the COVID vaccine. 105. Never died. I've never licked an owl. I assume most people do daily, but I've never been lucky enough to have one land on my nose. 22 here and never was in a club concert. I'm 18 and I have never tried Pepsi, Coca-Cola, or any soft drink. I know this won't be seen with 6K responses, but I'm 52 and have never been on Facebook or changed a diaper. Edit. It took someone about 30 seconds to upvote. You have my gratitude and hope you have a great weekend. I'm 25 and I've never gone on a date with anyone. Never puked due to excessive drinking. The latter happened a few times, but it always stayed down. Hangover diarrhea is just marginally better though. Never took a puff on a cigarette. Never got the appeal. Up until last month, I was 23 and never had a job but still not homeless. I've never had my period. I'm a guy, so that's probably the reason.